There were a couple of teams that really the committee and the bracket matrix folks really disagreed on.
Yeah, they were way off.
The Memphis Tigers. You know, it was funny. So yesterday, mid-afternoon, I started just kind of working ahead and kind of looking at bracket matrix. Okay, these might be the teams that Creighton plays. So I was just getting the skeletal framework of my spotting charts ready. And Memphis was one of the teams I had done.
I'm guessing Louisville wasn't.
Louisville was not. And wouldn't you know who won the pony? Look at
Wild.
Memphis. Memphis got a 5 seed from the committee. Yep. But their average on bracket matrix was 7.75. So that's a difference of nearly 3 seed lines.
Basically an 8 seed.
Memphis got a kiss from basically being an 8th seed to a 5th seed. And then Louisville went the other way. Louisville had a bracket matrix average of 5.8. They were an 8th seed. That's a difference of 2.2 spots.
And so that is the most and most on either side.
Yeah, because every other team among the top 12 seeds were all basically within 1 seed line when you look at the bracket matrix average and where they ended up. They all were within 1.
Do you think they mixed up the letters? I mean, M is close to L.
Well, in the alphabet, they're next to each other, but maybe they don't look anything alike.
That's true.
Now, of course, how this impacts the Jays is obviously they're not playing Memphis, they're playing Louisville.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of people mad online about the matchup. Oh, and by the way, it happens to be happening an hour away from Louisville's campus. Mm-hmm. Lexington is only about an hour away from Louisville, so this will basically be a Louisville home game.
And this is coming off the back
They're going to be an underseeded team. They might be angry.
And Creighton was just playing in an arena where they were the road team in a neutral site. Creighton fans seem very triggered right now.
They were mad.
Mad online.
And, you know, there's some interesting stuff here. Patrick Davis, we like Patrick. Patrick's one of our buddies.
I love Patrick.
Assistant Sports Information Director at Creighton.
Thank you, Patrick.
He went and did some research.
Okay.
Looked at the ACC. Teams with 2 or fewer conference losses since 1979. Seeding began in the NCAA in 1979.
Okay.
And every 1 or 2 loss ACC team, talking conference record,
okay,
was a 1 or a 2 seed in the Big Dance, except for 2. One was this year's Clemson team, which went 18-2. They were a 5th seed.
ACC.
And the other was Louisville, who was an 8th seed.
ACC.
I mean, you talk about...
Wow, disrespect.
This is all ACC teams, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Every ACC team prior to this season that finished with 2 or fewer conference losses was either a 1 seed or a 2 seed. And this year, Clemson's a 5 and Louisville's an 8.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side, of course, the Jays finished 2nd this year in the Big East.
Yeah.
And since 1979, when you look at teams that finished 2nd or better, the vast majority of them were either a 1 seed or a 2 seed. There's a smattering of 3s. There's 4 4s. There's 4 5s. There's a 6. There's 2 7s. And then there's this year's Creighton team, who is a 9th seed.
Yeah.
For a 2nd place Big East team. Lowest seed ever for a 2nd place Big East team.
Gosh, and I think back to, well, this is a good comment first. Mike says 2 ACC teams got screwed and they put UNC in. Yeah, those don't really work well together.
It doesn't.
I digress.
Which maybe is a reason why they got put in, because we got to make up for these. I don't.
We talked when we did predictions on Friday. One of the things that we did was guess the seed. We did it for the Creighton women. We did it for the Creighton men. We did it for Omaha. I think we all got Omaha right.
No.
I was way off on the Creighton men. I thought that they would win the league. They got to the final. They did not win. I thought, though, that getting there would definitely have them in prime position to move up to. I thought that they'd be at 8 at worst if they got to the title game, and I thought they won. They could have been a 7. Now the question that I have is, where would they have been seated had they lost to DePaul? If they wouldn't have had that incredible comeback on Thursday, are we talking about them as a 10?
Yeah.
I think so. Like, that is wild to me. Because I never thought that they were. I never thought that they were in the mix for that. I thought that they were comfortably a 9, if not an 8, and maybe a 7 if things broke their way. And now we're probably talking about them maybe being an 8 if they beat St. John's. I mean, I guess probably right because it would have been a nice win for them. But that's nuts. Not what I expected at all going into the weekend.
So I mention all of that, and sure, do I think Louisville got the short stick? Yes. Is it quote unquote fair that Louisville gets a home game? Maybe that's their
hell. How does Auburn feel, John? If they have to play Louisville, if Louisville wins,
that's true.
They're probably pissed.
Auburn's a number 1 seed, and if they play Louisville, guess what? They're gonna feel like they are an underdog. So you could look at that. You could look at it in a couple of different ways. My issue is with the complaining coming from locally.
From Creighton fans?
Yes. It's time to stop whining about the draw and the assignment, because I have heard enough recently about people crying about things being too tough. We should be walking to fights, not away from fights. We have discussed ad nauseum the last few weeks a certain decision made by a certain local program about not scheduling certain teams.
Yes.
And how much I dislike it.
Yes.
I would be hypocritical today if I didn't at least call some of this complaining out. Now, I get it. There's a difference between intentionally or not intentionally scheduling teams versus being assigned to teams. But it all falls under the same umbrella of it's a losing mindset to walk into something saying this isn't fair. Used to happen all the time around here when Nebraska got sent to Orange Bowls to have to play Florida schools. Mm-hmm. And I think subconsciously, sure, those Florida schools were mostly better than the Nebraska teams in many of those bowl games. Not all of them, but many of them. But I don't think it helped. I don't think it was healthy. Winning a championship is supposed to be tough. This tournament is a representation of the 68. I'm not saying it is the 68 best teams, but it is a representation of the 68 best teams in the sport. You have to expect it to be tough. It is your job to be tougher. Now, I'm speaking to fans. I don't think Greg McDermott is telling his players any of this stuff. And I hope that there's nobody inside of the organization thinking, man, we got hosed here by this draw.
Yeah, you might be disappointed for 5 seconds and then you get ready for the game.
Have some faith, Jays fans, in your program. This is the program that's been to 3 Sweet 16s in the last 4 years. That's your program. This is the program that's been to 10 NCAA tournaments in the last 14 years. Your program. Yeah, great. Their fans have an hour drive. Guess what? You might have some Kentucky stragglers, because not every Kentucky fan from Big Blue Nation is going to be following the Wildcats to their destination. I forget where they're playing. You might get some UK fans sitting in that building saying, we would love to root against the Cardinals. Mm-hmm. So you might have some love in there. Sure, you're going to have a lot of red in the building. Oh, well. You've been there, you've done that. You've been to Lincoln playing in front of 15,000 people dressed in red, and you won. Yeah, it didn't happen this weekend against St. John's, so be it. But embrace the challenge. Enjoy the ride. I don't like the mindset that people are out there saying, oh man, we got screwed on this draw and all this other stuff. Don't think that way. Pray that your team's not thinking that way. I don't think they are, but pray that they're not thinking that way. I hate that mentality. Winning a championship is supposed to be tough. Be tough. When that ball goes up on Thursday morning, Omaha time, noon,
11:15 Omaha time.
In the WOTE time zone. When that ball goes up, guess what doesn't matter anymore? What number is next to that team's name? Except for the number to the right of the team's name, which is the score. Because when that ball goes up, it don't matter anymore. Prepare to win, play to win. I don't like the loser mentality. I don't like it. Mm-hmm. So if I'm going to call out Matt Rule and some Husker fans, I'm going to be fair and I'm going to be honest. Don't do it, Jays fans. Don't do it.
Yeah, the first thing I thought of when the field was announced yesterday was a conversation that you and I had almost 4 years ago now about the baseball team, the Nebraska baseball team. When we thought, wow, they did a lot of work. They put themselves in great position, and then they were sent to Fayetteville, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember coming on the air the next, few days, and a lot of the fans were super pissed. But it didn't seem like the players were that bothered by it, or if they were putting on the best face possible, and they were just getting ready for the basketball. So I understand as a Creighton fan if you're annoyed, but I mean, by Thursday, I have to imagine that everyone's just going to say, let's go play some basketball.
You got to play basketball.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, this is Louisville's breaking the longest drought of not making the tournament in 60 years. They ain't been here. You have. So, you know what? Go play the damn game. Have faith in your program. Your program's been the better program than Louisville the last, 10 years, really.
Yeah.
So have faith.
Cincinnati.
Have faith. I don't like reading that stuff.
It's interesting. The Creighton fans are disagreeing with you.
Fine, disagree with me.
The Nebraska fans are supporting you. This is wild.
Bluejay Bishop is dead.
Yeah. Adam says, I disagree with John. I haven't read anywhere that the fans' mindset is we are screwed, might as well give up. It's been more discussing around not understanding the seeding. Big difference.
Then you have not seen what I have seen on the Twitter.
Also, Amazing Daniel and Mike are arguing what comparison you were trying to make. John brought up both Nebraska canceling Tennessee without saying it by name, but he was hinting at it. And also,
it was a chicken crap move to cancel Tennessee. There.
Yeah. And you also brought up Nebraska playing bowl games back in the day in Florida.
Because
I understood where you were going.
Because that was a prevailing mindset around here for a long time.
Sure.
My God, we have to play another Florida team in the Florida.
Well, and we
bowl
saw
game.
it coming out of the MSG apparently, and I missed this. I heard Happer mention. We talked about it a little bit in the crossover that was there an actual conversation of this isn't fair that we have to go play at MSG? Like, come on. So I'm going to be with you on that one. That is a ridiculous thing to complain about. Ridiculous thing.
Again, yeah. If anyone should be mad, Louisville should be mad because they probably got underseeded. Okay. But there's not much you can do about that. Just don't have faith in your program.
Mike says winning
a championship is supposed to be hard. Go be good.
Mike, who is a Creighton fan, says, the hell did CU do wrong? Creighton did nothing wrong.
No.
He's talking about the mindset of the fans.
Yes, I didn't say anything about Creighton. I said nothing about Creighton. I'm talking to fans who filled up the Twitter timeline last night and this morning with whining. I don't want to hear it.
Time to start muting.
I don't want to hear it. It's not a good mindset. It's always been a bad mindset. Go out and beat them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking to the fans. I'm not talking to the program because I guarantee you that Greg McDermott is not mentioning this to the guys. He's not saying, when did we get screwed?
Definitely not. The other thing, too, about it is Auburn has been viewed recently as maybe the most gettable one, which is very interesting in this discussion where there's a lot of frustration about the Louisville of it all, but you get by Louisville and you're like, oh my gosh, maybe the best one that you'd want to face.
Chris says, I rarely say it, but John is right.
John is right.
Chris, you're wrong a lot then. And by the way, it's like a 3-point, actually it was like a 2.5 point spread.
I was going to say,
is what I saw.
It was very small.
Which sounds like an 8-9 matchup.
Very tiny. Yeah.
It sounds like an 8-9 matchup to me.
Correct.
And by the way, the 9 seed
has
won 2/3 of the games against the 8 seed in the last 20 years, I think it is.
2.5. 2.5.
So, yeah, I was getting annoyed with the whining that I was seeing.
Yeah.
Don't allow that mentality coming in here. Be tough.
Be tough.
Be tough.
The team's going to be tough.
And schedule Tennessee, damn it.
And schedule Tennessee. Do both. Be tough and schedule Tennessee.
Not Creighton, schedule Tennessee.
I mean, I'd be down watching that hoops,
yeah,
right? You do a little home and home, maybe. Oh, that'd be a good bit. If Creighton put Tennessee on their basketball schedule, that'd be a very good bit.